So I was looking around my garage for some rocks, and I found this old aquarium in the back. It's filled with old aqua soil and some old snail shells. It even has an old sponge filter. My goal is to transform this tank back into a working aquarium. I figured the best thing to do was to clean out the old substrate to get a fresh start. I also took out the old sponge filter because I'm planning on making this a no filter setup. Once the tank was cleaned, it looked way better. And now it was time to plan out the build. For our no filter ecosystem, we are going to need a lot of plants to help filter waste. So in order to plant, we first need to create the foundation. I think I want to try doing a Wallstad method set up with real dirt in the tank. The Wallstad method is a natural method for making your own balanced ecosystem that can be almost completely self-sufficient without a filter or regular water changes. So I picked up this bag of organic potting mix that will serve as our primary layer. It's important when setting up an aquarium with real dirt to make sure the phosphate levels are below 0.09. Low phosphate levels are desired in potting soil used for aquariums because high phosphate levels can significantly contribute to algae growth. So I started with a nice amount of soil to create a solid layer for the base of the tank. I want to try and get the dirt at least 2 inches deep to allow our future plants room for root development. Once I got the soil layer complete, I'm going to add a fine layer of sand to cap off the dirt. This layer of white sand will keep the potting soil in place and prevent it from clouding the water when displaced. With the substrate set, it's time to do some hardscaping. I picked up some nice pieces of driftwood from my neighbor that was getting rid of some old aquarium stuff. Now let's see how we want to place our driftwood. And after a couple minutes, I ended up coming out with this. Now, let's fill in some of the gaps with these nice dragon stones. We need to leave optimal room for our plants, so I'm just adding a couple. I also got these pieces of spider wood to create some nice wood accents. Now that our hardscape is complete, we need to take a drive to our local pet store and pick up some plants. The store had just got a delivery, so they had a lot to choose from. I ended up getting 6 different plants. It's important that we get these roots in the dirt below the sand so they get the proper nutrients they need. But we need to be careful not to expose any dirt to the water column. Once we planted the whole tank, it was time to start filling the tank with water. Now with this no filter setup, it's going to take 4 weeks to properly cycle, so I'll keep you guys updated. It's been about a week since we set up the tank, and it looks like our driftwood is releasing a lot of tannins. Honestly, that's weird because I boiled these pieces for over 2 hours. Mom, if you're watching this, sorry I used your pot. There's also this film that's starting to develop on the surface of the tank, so I decided to do a 30% water change to help cycle this ecosystem. I also added this pump to help circulate the water. And before you start complaining, this pump has no filter. It just sucks in the water and pushes it right back out. This pump will help create circulation throughout the ecosystem. So with our first water change done, let's check back in next week. On the start of week 2, our tank is starting to look even worse, but don't worry because this is just our ecosystem establishing itself. Within a couple weeks, this tank will look brand new. We just need to do another water change. I even decided to place the pump in the back of the tank to make this seem like a no filter setup. I woke up one morning the following week and found our tank with a huge algae bloom. During the last water change, I made a crucial mistake that I didn't realize till later. When I put this pump in the back of the tank, it slid down too far, it started to disturb the substrate, and exposed the dirt under the sand. So after doing some research, I found that if the dirt layer is exposed, it'll lead to water quality issues, including high ammonia levels, cloudiness, and the potential for harmful substances to leach into the water, impacting fish and plant health. I decided to replace the pump back up front. As I was rescaping the sand in the back, I saw this little guy on the front of the tank. These snails always seem to find their way into my ecosystems from the plants. It looks like this little guy has a lot of cleaning to do, so I'll be back next week to check on our tank. After almost a whole month, our ecosystem is getting out of hand. It seems that our snails have started to multiply slowly, but it doesn't look like they can control the algae. So I tested the water, and our ammonia and nitrate levels are extremely high. If we try to put any animals in here, they will literally die. So I did what I thought was best and rescape the tank. So after an hour, I redid the substrate with fluval aqua soil and replanted the tank with some of these plants I saved. I'm also going to put this small filter to help it cycle faster. I know the game plan has changed throughout the video, but sometimes you need to adapt. I promise I'll try a no filter setup again. Now let's give our new ecosystem some time to evolve. I'll be back in a couple days. I woke up a couple days later and our ecosystem is looking a lot better. The fluval substrate I got specifically made for plant growth, so hopefully these plants make a strong recovery. I'll be back in a week to add our first additions. After about a week, our ecosystem is ready for life. When adding a filter versus no filter, it allows for a tank to cycle way quicker. So I went to the store and picked up our first additions. Some Amano shrimp and 3 autosynclus catfish. We call these guys the cleanup crew. These guys would have been perfect for the last setup since it was full of algae, but they probably wouldn't have lasted one day. Amano shrimp are one of the best natural solutions for helping to keep algae at bay, and autosynclus catfish love nothing more than to nibble algae off plants, glass, and other smooth surfaces. They also love to eat the biofilm and other botanicals that are slowly breaking down in the aquarium. Let's give our cleanup crew some time to explore their new home. It's been a little bit since I last checked on our ecosystem, and it seems the cleanup crew is doing a great job. I can't see any more algae in the tank, and our inhabitants look happy and healthy. I also picked up these pellets. That would be a perfect snack for our cleanup crew. So I dropped in a couple of pellets, and within 20 seconds, an Amano shrimp came running over to check it out. At first, the shrimp was skeptical, but once it tasted the vegetable-packed wafer, it was in heaven. Soon after, the other inhabitants started to be intrigued by the new aroma flowing through the tank and came to check it out. It seems like our shrimp seem to be enjoying the pellets, but the catfish don't seem to stay very long. Let's leave the cleanup crew to eat. When I came back the next day, they had completely torn apart the wafer, and now the catfish seem to be enjoying them. But these guys made a huge mess, and if we leave this algae wafer in the tank too long, it'll mess up our ecosystem. So I decided to do a quick cleanup since they had a whole day eating. I grabbed my trusty tool and started to vacuum the wafer pieces. Honestly, this is kind of fun. You get to vacuum underwater. Once I got a good amount of the wafers up, I left a little bit for them to snack on. And with a new shipment of Betta fish getting here in a couple days, we need to make sure this ecosystem is perfect. I know this process was a little drawn out, but I appreciate you if you made it this far into my video. I'm trying to make the best videos and ecosystems I can. I woke up to a text from the pet store that they just got a new shipment of fish. So I took a drive over to the store and saw they had like 50 new fish. I decided to pick this guy since he looked the most energetic and happy to see me. Let's take this guy home and introduce him to his new ecosystem. We need to acclimate our new fish before he enters his new home. While he acclimates, we need to think of a name for our Betta fish. He's mostly red with accents of blue, and after 20 minutes, it looks like he wants to get out and start exploring. So I introduced to you Sam the Betta fish. Sam wasted no time darting around the tank exploring everything. He was really excited to be in his new home. I think it's a nice upgrade from where they had him at the pet store. Let's give Sam some time to check out the ecosystem. It's been a couple days since we checked on Sam. I did see him eating some of the leftover wafer, so let's see if Sam is hungry. I got these micro pellets that I gave our glow light tetras in the last video that will be perfect for Sam. So I opened our lid and threw some pellets in, but they couldn't break through the dense frog lid growing on the surface. So I decided to make an opening on the surface with a fish portal. I recently got this 3D printer and I've been working on something special that I'll be releasing in my next video for you guys. So I created a 3D model and set it to print. Then I ran over to my machine and saw the magic begin. This printer is honestly one of my coolest purchases, and I'm super excited to design different items for our future builds. Don't worry, this filament that I use to print is aquarium safe, so none of this plastic will harm our pets. Now, with the printer putting the finishing touches, we got a fish portal in just under 30 minutes. I can't wait to show you guys what I made for you in the next video. So please subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any future videos. So I brought back the portal to the tank, and here's the moment of truth. Will the ring float? I opened the lid and I decided to put the ring here. So I dropped our portal in and it was a success. I just needed to scoop out the frog bit from the inside of the ring. Now with a clear opening, I dropped some pellets into the portal and Sam smelled the food right away. He darted over to the opening and started to eat the micro pellets floating on top of the water. After 3 to 5 minutes, Sam ate all the pellets. It's really starting to look like Sam is enjoying his new ecosystem. After a couple days, I came back to the ecosystem and I saw Sam checking out one of our Amano shrimp. At first, I was scared because I didn't want him to attack the shrimp, but it looks like they are becoming friends. And talking about friends, I want Sam to get a girlfriend and have them potentially start a betta fish family. But I want to build a special ecosystem for them. So if you want to see me upgrade Sam in a future video and get him a girlfriend, then like today's video. And for the next couple days, I honestly just truly admired Sam and how beautiful his natural colors are.